Okay, I can see myself here. And should be coming in. Takes time. Can't see. Oh, there we go. Hey, what's up, traders? Welcome back to Daily Forex Analysis, live on the 22nd of April. And we're gonna start with, again, the same with the four currency pairs, and pretty much similar to what we did in the last, what we normally do it on this live Daily Forex Analysis from Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. UK time. So I'm gonna jump in and start analyzing these four currency pairs, which we got the chart box on your right. So we're gonna start with the US dollar against Canada, followed by euro against Australian dollar, and then British pounds against US dollar, and lastly we're gonna have New Zealand dollar against US dollar. So this is the four currency pairs. I normally analyze four currency pairs. They are a bit different. Depends like what kind of opportunities I normally see on that particular day, because they do change because markets move all the time. However, if you want me to analyze any particular currency which is not mentioned in here, just let me know on the chat box and I will do my best to do that. As well as if you have any questions, just leave it in the chat box and I will address them later. So I'm going to jump into the start with the US dollar against Canadian dollar. So let's jump into the trading view. So we're going to start with the US dollar against Canadian from the daily time frame. So let me get rid of these add things. So this is a daily time frame, and we can see that the price. So the price came up yesterday and tested these highs here, and then I had a reaction, kind of pulled back in a way. And we also have this trend line in here on the daily trend line, which I just draw it because it was it made. For the yesterday's candle, so connect from this high spike high here to this yesterday's high. So the price tested it and it has a mild retracement, so I do think it has a potential to keep going up. So what we're gonna target now, later we're gonna go and analyze what are potential entries and exit. Also, my bigger view for as of the swing trades are looking towards upside. As I mentioned, I think yesterday was that I'm gonna be targeting this monthly highs, which is around 500 pips away. I'm not in that trade yet. I'm just waiting for the potential to set up on the swing trades. But for now, let's go to the day trading opportunities. Of course, when you are on the day trade, there will be a potential. Sometimes you might look at the trade is going so nicely and maybe shows a lot of volatility towards like your direction. So there are times that when you might want to hold the position, or at least take a half off and then leave the other half off. Not always, but there are some times that you might want to hold on to that trade. Let's drill down to 4-hourly time frames and see what we have it in there. So I'm just going to the 4-hour time frames. So this is the same trend line, so the price came up. We have also these highs here. I think I did mention yesterday, price probably going to this area here. I didn't get onto that trade because it did not set up, but we see that price came up and tested that trend line, also these highs, and it didn't really have like a strong reaction. So it just had a mild reaction. We can see these candles here. This is the 4-hourly time candles. You got this hammer, doji, and these kind of ugly candles. And we had this up bullish bar and followed by a down bar. So I do see the potential towards upside for sure. Now let's discuss what are the potential entries. Let's see what we have on the 4-hourly time frames first, and then we're going to jump into the 1-hourly time frames, and that's where we're gonna get our entry. So this one came down here. I do think it's gonna go a bit further down. We got this cluster down here, which is, so this is about at 141, about 141.35 zone. Let's look at the 1 hourly time frames and see what we have it in there. In order for us to get the tighter stop losses, we do. So I personally do it. That's how my analysis work. I do from top-down approach from the, let's say, it's with the day trade. Then I do from daily time frames, 4 hourly, 1 hourly, and then looking for that entry, which is gonna get even tighter on the smaller time frames. So normally the deciding factor is 1 hourly time frames. It can be 4 hourly as well as daily, but generally it's 1 hourly and sometimes 4 hourly and daily, but mainly it's daily time frames. Right, let's have a look at the, okay, so the price came down, so as I said, it was 41.30, so it's down to this zone about here. Okay, 141.35, roughly speaking, 141.35. That will be our entry. I do think this has enough strength to have a bit more pullback down to another 30 to 40 pips, down to here about 141.35. And for the stop loss, we're gonna look for the 45. So we're gonna look about 20. Yeah, you're gonna need 25 or 30 pips stop loss on this one, at the very minimum. At the very minimum, 25 pips stop loss, but you might want to give it about 30 pips stop loss on this one. And for the targets, as the targets are looking, so if you get onto 141.35. Let's go up to the 4 hourly time frames. I do use targets as on the based on the 4 hourly time frames or the daily time frames. So we see that it's coming down. I do think definitely that it has a more potential to go a bit more retracement than this one before it's probably going to continue shoot up. So as of the targets, we will be looking, so this might create some 43.60 zone. So if we get on the 41.35, and we're gonna run it to 43.60, we could do that. 41.60. This might create some resistance. We got this spike here, so we got this low, and it's like this weird high in here. So it can create some resistance there. My price kind of pull back. So as of the first target, it's going to be a 43.60, and if you want to hold it even further up, then you can do that. As I mentioned, if the price is going nicely and has enough strength, just hold on to the trade, because I definitely see the potential for this one to skyrocket to this monthly high, which I think is up to here, right? Yeah, this is also monthly high. This is a daily time frame, but it's also this monthly high, this spike high in here. So there's a good potential the price want to come up and take out this high here, as I mentioned also yesterday. So if I see a volatility coming towards upside, then I'm going to hold on to the trade. But as of now, we're going to hold on to we're going to say the target's going to be at the one I mentioned earlier. So it's about 200, roughly about 200 pips away, which gives us a good risk reward in overall. So let's jump into the next one, which is euro against Australian dollar. Let's go to euro against Australian. EURAUD. This is an interesting currency. Does pretty good moves. Sometimes it gets into choppy mode, but then when it starts to move, then it moves a lot. So for now, it's sitting at 71.50. I already actually took a trade earlier, about 2 hours back, before I went to live trading. About 2 hours back, I got onto the quite a bit high, about on this around these highs here. Well, it was somewhere down here. Of course, that opportunity is gone, but I do see a bit more potential on this one. So the trade is going down, and as of the targets, we will be looking for down to 70. Which one was it? Down to 70.60, I believe. I think it was a 4 hourly time frame. Let's go to the 4 hourly time frame. So so far it's going nicely. It's going nicely down. and we're gonna hold on to that. But because the price is now, when it came down here, we put this bullish candle. It's kind of it went up and down and tested this, made this double top, and then going back up. Oops. So going back up, tested this high, and then now it's coming down. So there's a good chance if the price comes down, maybe test these lows again, or even taking out these lows. The price might want to skyrocket higher, and this is a euro against Australian dollar, so they do move a lot. So let's go to a 4-hourly time frame and see what we have it in there. Potentially we want to see a bit more. So it has a reaction on the news. So I took the trade just after the news was out. So we had this news out here because we had this fast reaction towards downside, but then the price again what is lost, and I closed this hammer with such a long wick. But then now the price is coming down. As of now, I do want to see a bit more retracement, and we're going to go to the 1-hour time frame and see that retracement. So far, the price is going nicely. As of the targets, we will be looking down to these. So which one I had? This one was a bit different than my MetaTrader. It was about 170.60 zone, which is down to these lows here, 170.60, just before this main lows here before the spikes. So price might want to come down and even take out, but we don't want to wait for that one because we're gonna might risk a bit because there's a good chance that when price comes down it can just go up. So let's drill down to the 1-hourly time frame, and then let's see what are the potentials for the entry towards downside, and if it's gonna meet our risk rewards. Yeah, I do get onto this. So it's I think it was a 170 220 I got on here when it has this. So the reason why it was when it made this spike down here, then it has this mild retracement. We can see these two up bars in here. This is 1-hour time frames, and that was a good opportunity to also, it was these highs here also with a spike, and then I just it happened pretty quick as well. I put the limit order and it just went up and it triggered my limit order, and then it just collapsed down. I do see a more potential, and let's discuss what are the potential. However, this needs to go a bit more down. I want to see it coming down to these, about down to these this low down here, 170 130. 170 130. Then we'll be looking for the retracement. Ideally it will do that in the next hour, either this hour or the next hour, and then retracements towards upside depending how far it's going to go. So if it closes nicely strong at 170 130, then we're going to be looking for the retracement. So 30 40. If it closes nicely, then we're gonna look for the retracement for about 20 pips retracement, but we want to wait when the price takes out these highs, and maybe even this high, depending how strong it's gonna look the retracement. But at least very minimal, we're gonna wait for the taking out of these highs, which more gonna be at 7150, 170 zone. So which also we have this high here around the same level, so roughly about 20 pips we are speaking on that. Yeah, and then we're gonna run it. So let's say if we get into at 170 150, of course it's not an exact science, but just an estimate. So if we get onto 170 150, then we're gonna look for the stop loss 20 to 25 pip stop loss. You can get away with it. So it's gonna go above these highs here, which is pretty good, and also above this high. So 25 pip stop loss, and we get onto 170 150, and then we're gonna run it down to 170. I believe it was 60, 176. So that gives us 90 pip rewards with the 25 pip stop loss. So the risk reward again is decent, so it's more than 1 to 3, which is good. So let's jump into the next currency. I've been going about 15 minutes. Okay, so 2 currencies done. British pounds against US dollar. Let's go to the GBPUSD. See what I was looking at that one earlier. I do see there's some potentials, but depending how the last hour candle, I haven't looked at how the last hour candle was closed. Let's have a look. Okay, the one closed this. Okay, that's good. It's coming back up again. So let's drill down to the daily time frames. Oh, I did not deconnect. Okay, nice, to fine. So we can see that the price came down. So on this move, this is a daily time frame. So the price came down and didn't quite get to. Let me see. So the price came down and tested this low here, but we have this this candle here as well as lows, so it's kind of multiples. So the price came down here, and then now it's kind of retracing up. So I do believe that the price wants to come down at the very minimum to test this 122 to 122.25 zone. So there's a decent enough pips there, which is around 100 pips. So if we're going to get a tight stop loss, then we can get out about 1 to 3 or 1 to 4 risk reward. So we're going to discuss that. I do think it's going to come down, and maybe we're taking out this spike down here, but we're going to target to this low here, because we have a strong enough this move, and also this move is strong, so we don't want to give it to a chance that price wants. Maybe when it comes down here, it might continue go up. So for now, we're going to target this area there. So as of the retracements, let's drill down to the shorter time frames. Let's have a look at the 4-hour time frames. So British pounds, US, and the target is at 122.25 zone, which is down the low I already mentioned. So this is coming up nicely. Now it's kind of taking out this 4-hourly high as well, which is good. And we have, let's see, we have this high here, which is, no, it's been tested already. So that's a bit tricky. Let's see. So we're currently sitting in 123.26. We want to. I need to go to the 1-hourly time frames on that one. So you might see something on the one time frame, but it could be completely different on the other time frame. So even though 4-hourly looking strongly up, it's making way up because I'm looking more like a daily time frame rather than. So daily time frame is more important in that context than it's the 4-hourly. Of course, they're both important, but I need to have a bigger picture. On this one, I do think that it's probably gonna continue down. Have that. This looks like more like a retracement on the daily time frame. So we're gonna use the short time frame, such as 1-hourly time frame, to get into the trade towards short side. Let's see what we have it in here. Let's move this one. Okay, nothing much on there. So the price is coming up. I do believe we have a pivot somewhere here. I think the pivot is somewhere here. I think it's a weekly pivot. I'm not 100% sure. I can't put the pivots in here for some reason, but I do believe there was a pivot in here. So that's why I was looking at it on. So as of the entries goes, I want to see for the price to push up. Yeah, 23.40. I just remember it was on 23.40 entry. So the reason why there's a pivot there, as well as if it comes up at 23.40, it's going to take out this this high here, this spike high here. So that's where we're going to try to get onto, if it sets up, to get onto the short side. So let's say that the price, if the price comes up, so 23.40 as of this stop loss goes. We're gonna go pretty tight stop loss on this one, 23.40, because the only if you give that good stop loss, they will be up here, but that's not gonna work for us because we are doing day trades and our target is closer. And if you give it such a wide stop, then you have to hold the position for long. But we talk about the day trading here. So we get onto the if the price gives us the opportunity. 23.40 as of this stop losses goes. 15, you can even get away with a 15 pip stop loss. I'm probably gonna give it about 20 pip stop loss. So 23.60 is gonna be the stop loss gonna be up there, 23.60. So we're looking 20 pip stop loss. You can get away with that 15 pip stop loss, but we might be a bit too tight. And as of the target goes, I did mention, so 23.40, and we're gonna run it down to, if it's gonna load on the daily time frames, so 23.40, and we're gonna run it to 23. That's gonna be closer. So we're gonna run it down to 23.30. So we'll be looking about 110 pips gain with the 20 pip stop loss. So as we can see, the risk reward is good. And for now, I probably won't hold it after this one, because as I mentioned before, the good chance the price is going to come down and then turn around and go up. However, if you want to take a bit more risk, you might just hold it and then even hold it down to maybe even down to this lows, but it's a bit too early to discuss that. Though if you're going to take your targets in here, it's 110 pips gain with the 20 pip stop loss, which is way good. Let's jump into our last currency, which is New Zealand dollar against a US dollar. Let's go to the NZDUSD and see what we have it there. NZDUSD. Again, we're going to start with the daily time frames on here. Okay, so I did see, I think there's a trend line. Let's draw some trend lines. I think the area I was looking, it was a kind of wedge formation on here, and it's sort of, yeah, sort of a wedge in here. Price is trying to squeeze. Yeah, we got this wedge. I think I mentioned it yesterday. I'm not sure. So this down and up. So see what the price is gonna do. Either go up or go down. So we had this wedge. I do think the price. Let's see. So the big trend is down, but we have, this is similar to the last currency. So it might be this similar situation, more or less. So I will be looking for this one to probably go short, more like it. The way it looks like now, it's more of a short side. Price might want to break this this trend line and come down to this low. So that will be the target as well. So the target will be at 58.70 zone, 58.70. So roughly about 110 pips gain again, similar to the last one. You might just want to take one of them. So the last one was British pounds against US dollar. So you might want to take not all the US dollar trades. I know there's some traders, they do take 5-6 trades, similar to the US dollar. I know the US dollar is the biggest one, has the most strength, but you don't want to have too many trades running at the same time. So keep your trades maybe at the very maximum, probably 5 trades running at the same time. Ideally, probably it's even less, depending on your experience. So I never run more than 5 trades at the same time. So as I mentioned, so target's gonna be here, 58.70 zone, and now let's go to the 4-hourly time frame and see what we have it in 4-hourly time frames. So I am looking for the short side place. Okay, now it's showing quite a bit of strength on this one, but for now is nothing to worry about. So if the price, we got this 6,000 up here, so which is also this high, so it's most likely gonna be, let me see what we have it in here. Yeah, that will be our entry somewhere. I still need to have a look at the daily time frame. So we got these two decent, also these lows and also these highs. So it's a decent enough resistance. So if the price pushes up a bit more, then it's decent enough for the entry in here for the short side. Let's go to the 1-hourly time frame and see what we have it in there. also important. Yeah, it's important to look at all the time frames. If you when trading, I know in my early trading days that I was looking for the one time frame. So let's say if it's daily time frame or the 4-hourly time frame, I'm just looking at the one time frame. So whether it was the 1 hour time frame or 4-hour time frame, but you do need to look at the other time frames. The higher the time frame, more important it is. So it was a more chance that the price gonna have a reaction. So if it's say you're trading for the 1 hour time frame and for let's say there's a 1 hourly resistance, it's not gonna be as strong as if it's a daily resistance, for example. On most of the case, there could be exceptions, but most of the case it's higher time frames, the more stronger it is, and also if you're gonna couple up with the few things together. Let's say if it's a resistance, maybe you got the moving average, depending what indicators you use it. The more the better. Maybe it's gonna be another highs on the 4-hourly time frame somewhere, and when you couple up all that together, it makes it even stronger. So keep that in mind because that's important. Now back to the what I was talking, because I do like to deviate from the conversation as well. The price. So as I mentioned, 6,000. I think it's 6,002. Yes, 6,000. 60.02. So 60.02, as I did mention it, so on 4-hourly time frames, this comes up here. It doesn't look as good, but on the 4-hourly time frame, it looks pretty strong. So if we jump onto it, let's call it 6,000, because just easier to talk about and calculate. So let's say we get into the 6,000, and our stop loss gonna be, let's see, 10. No, 10 is too short. More likely it will be 20 pips stop loss on that. So we'll be looking at about 20 pips stop loss on this one. And for the target, so 6,000, and as I mentioned target earlier, can't remember what it was. So 20 pips stop loss, and the target was, I think it was 110 pip gain, which is very good. So yeah, the target was down to this daily low here. We got this here. So as of the targets, so 58.70, yeah. So we're looking 130 pips gain, which is good. And if we take the 20 pips stop loss, then yeah, just to calculate, that will work out about 1 to 6 risk reward. So that's why when you have that big risk reward trades, and I do want to mention this again. I'm pretty sure I mentioned it for the on my previous videos in most of them. Then the risk reward is more important than the win rate. I know a lot of people advocate towards win rate, especially as a new traders. They want to have a high win rate, 90% or 95%, just because you don't want to have that feeling of losing, which is not very easy to manage, especially when your mindset is not developed. But high win rate is way better at the end. In the next 100 or 50 trades, it's better. You're gonna make money rather than if you concentrate on just win rate, the high win rate. So that will be it. I think I did analyze everything. So let's go. So no questions in here. So that will be it, guys. So it's going about 28 minutes. I'm cutting it down from the 40 minutes to half an hour. And ideally I want to make it maybe even 25 minutes next time, and try to be in more specific and straight to the point. So that will be it, guys. For this was the daily live daily forex analysis. I'm making this video every from Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. UK time. I'll go live at that time. So if you want me to interact, if you want to interact with me live, you can just do that at 8 a.m. UK time. And if you've got any questions, you can just pop it in the chat, and then I will address them later. And also, if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing, because I'm making the daily analysis as well as a bunch of videos such as weekly analysis and anything related to trading in general, especially the psychology, because I do think that is one of the key steps if you want to survive in the forex market. So make sure to subscribe, and also if you like this video, make sure to hit that like. It does really support me and gives me more motivation to make these videos. So that will be it, guys, and I will see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. UK time. Have a great day. And before I sign up, it takes time. Yeah, my computer is not performing as well. It takes a long time. Takes a lot of